Thank you for downloading another episode of Three Different Dads, a podcast with us goofball dads. Jim, Tyler, how you guys doing?
I'm
Doing great.
great. I'm
Great. Oh,
awesome.
simultaneous.
Great,
That's perfect for the podcast.
great. Yes.
Yes.
Just we talk over each other, loud noises, lot of audio. We're good.
All right. So Tyler, right before
Okay, stop it, please.
no, right before we started, we're gonna talk about football first and foremost. So let's
Hell
start.
yeah.
Actually, we'll just talk about sports in general because it was a really good sports weekend. So let's talk about Thursday first. Jim and I are Cowboys fans, and we got to watch the Cowboys. Really, I mean, it wasn't that difficult of a game.
Humble brag.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't. The score was closer. It was 28-20, but they scored with like a second left or whatever. Jim, did you
Yeah.
get to watch the whole game?
Yes. So my daughter came down with the flu. So
Of course, that was you.
um
Is that all you giving it to her?
no, that was dude, I got the flu before Halloween. And completely different. She had flu A, I had flu B or whatever it
Okay,
was.
all right.
So
You're
don't pin
clear. You're
it on me.
clear.
Unrelated, not me.
So we got to skip out the holiday Thanksgiving festivities and just kind of chill at home and do all that type of stuff. So I got to go to Kroger early on Thursday, which was kind of depressing, and see a bunch of like it was probably 80-20 males. So um, the single ladies of our demographic, like if you're looking to pick up some men,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day at Target or Kroger. So I went, they were all out of any type of turkey, which I expected, but they did have some deli turkey. So because my daughter was having a meltdown that she wasn't going to have any, so got that.
All right.
Had some Bob Evans pre-done like mashed potatoes and
Those
like
are my favorite mashed potatoes, by the way.
got those
Yeah.
stovetop stuffing
All
and
right.
some rolls and some already made gravy. I put together a Thanksgiving dinner in about 6 minutes. And and there was like some macaroni and cheese that was already like cooked. You just pop it in the microwave and it's
Yep.
ready.
Nice.
And I don't get what the big deal is with cooking Thanksgiving. My kids seem to enjoy it. Spent
Oh,
6 minutes on it, and then we were
hashtag Father of the Year. Jim is in a clear number one running
Right.
right
Well,
now.
well,
It's
yeah, for sure. But first of all, how did everyone enjoy it? Were both your kids there and
oh
your wife, or was it just
yeah, everybody was there.
okay?
Everyone was there. I also got a frozen pie, not pumpkin pie, but like a cookies and cream
Okay.
that you
Yeah.
just like, leave out, and it's just like Cool Whip and
Yeah.
big win. Like the
Sure.
kids love that. And so yeah, plates were gone. Like I did because it was sliced turkey. I ended up cutting the rolls, made a little turkey sandwich
Hmm.
for them,
I
and
don't
they
want to
were
say I'm the greatest Thanksgiving Day cook ever, but
seriously.
it's up
My
there.
my wife's aunt stresses out like crazy for weeks before Thanksgiving, and I just whipped everything up in 6 minutes. Like I kid you not, the longest thing was stovetop stuffing, and that takes 5 minutes to make.
I,
So
I
you're
thought
throwing
I thought you were gonna
thanks.
say the
Chef
longest
kiss.
thing. The longest thing was for that pie to thaw out.
I had to
So
wait
so
hours for that.
yeah. So
So,
is
so
this gonna be a new thing for you?
I would love to
But
do that.
yeah.
So we do Thanksgiving and Christmas with my wife's family,
Mm,
which is weird because they're in Christmas. It's like a week before Christmas. We all get together, like all
yeah.
the extended family do it. It's weird because we don't see anybody for an entire year, and then like within 3 weeks we see each other back, like boom and then boom. And so I would love to do, and what we're going to try to delicately bring up is, can we do like Thanksgiving or Christmas? Let's pick one.
Just
And
put your
then
foot down, dude. Just say
let's pick
we're
like
doing Thanksgiving.
let's pick a time in like June or July. My in-laws have a place on the lake.
Yeah.
Just have everybody go up to the lake, and they have boats and stuff, and like we can hang out there. It's like a fun thing that people could do. It's not like you have to stress over stuff because like her other cousin just had a kid too. So it's like we kind of want to do stuff with our own family and not just like cousin's aunt's kid or whatever. Like it
Yeah.
just and yeah. So we'll see. We'll play that. See how that goes. But there's a lot of brokering that needs to be done and things. My
You
in-laws
sound like
Put your
come
foot
over
down, dude.
after Thanksgiving,
yeah,
after my aunt's Thanksgiving.
yeah.
They were like, well, we have the flu shot, like we want to see our grandkids, which I was like, whatever.
Can you use the kids
So,
in your favor here? Like, are the aunts and uncles, they obviously don't have kids, right? Like, they're all grown, right?
yeah, so
Just
we'll see.
that's it. You just say,
Yeah,
uh, I've decided we're gonna do Thanksgiving here as a family, and I'm gonna welcome you guys with open arms.
And
And then
deli
you say, by
turkey.
the way, yeah, to deli turkey. No, you got to entice them though. You got to say, I'm gonna go ahead smoke a turkey next year. It's gonna be fabulous. And just say, I dabbled with some other. You just kind of like plant the seeds. Like, yeah, I got my hand into it a little bit, and I have a few surprises for you. And that's like when you bring out like that Oreo pie that you were talking about. Like
yeah.
next year, they're they're not gonna see that coming.
The problem is like I mean, they're into like this is the way it happens. This is what we do.
Yeah, yeah.
No one enjoys themselves. Everybody shows up. Like, let's say Thanksgiving, they'll be like, "Hey, food's going to be ready at 1:30." Everybody shows up at like 1:25.
Yeah.
And then you start to eat right away. You eat, and then as soon as you're done eating, it's like the kickoff to the Cowboys game,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody leaves at halftime. Like it's
Really?
clockwork. Boom, boom, boom. No one real. I mean, you kind of talk to each other, but everybody's like a group of people are sitting in the family room, a group of people are in the dining room, kids or whatever. So it's just kind of like, okay, we checked the box, but um, I just think if we were to have like a summer fun thing, then it's like, hey, we're gonna go do this and whatever, and if you want to come, great. If not, so might be a little bit more enjoyable. We'll
So,
see.
so do you want to have this summer thing in place of these holidays, one of these holidays, or also?
Correct. Because it's
Okay.
weird because like we see each other for this like 2 hour lunch thing
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving, and we haven't seen them for like a year. So it's
Mhm.
like it's kind of nice. You're like, hey, how's everything? And then like 3 weeks later, we're getting together again for
Yeah.
Christmas, and we're having the exact same food plus ham for Christmas. And so it's like we just did this 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Let's spice it up a little bit. Let's get it going.
What you have to do is because I feel like that family, right, is in the middle, right? And Jim's over here, which is not like you're weird, but Jim's just over here. You got to get the people who aren't in the middle but are leaning towards you first, right? You got to talk to them first. Like, this is the idea I have. What do you think? And then try to pull everyone from the middle toward. It doesn't have to go all the way to you, just towards you.
No. Yeah, so a couple years ago I brokered where like we used to do this is how crazy it was. For Christmas, everybody, all the aunts got all the like everybody got Christmas gifts. And it was like a $20 limit or whatever. So it's like you end up getting just a bunch of like crap. Like and it's like every uncle gets everybody this. Every aunt like and it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, what if like this was a fight to be like, hey, let's just draw names for one person
Yeah.
and do like a $50 limit, and then we could kind of get something nicer and like put some thought into it, and not just like a generic, you know, beer
Meat
bottle
stick.
and opener thing, yeah, or meat
Yeah.
stick. And so that took about 2 years to get that through because it's very like I felt like I was in Washington D.C. like bring inside to get like, hey, let's like
Do I
back
have a
channel.
vote here?
Hey, if this were to come up, how are you leaning?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? And that's really kind of, and also like I had to start with the cousins and
Mhm.
then work up to the aunts and uncles
The
because
problem,
they're like,
the problem with that, much like our government, is you could rally the troops, get the House to vote on it, be like, yes, we want this to pass. You could get the Senate to vote on it, be like, yes, we want this to pass. Ultimately, if you don't have the veto proof power, it could get vetoed by one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely one of these like strength in numbers things where I'm going to kind of float that out this Christmas and kind of see, because I know if I go straight to like my mother-in-law or father-in-law, that will get shut down immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many people can I get on my side before I get some pushback?
Okay. Do the aunt and uncle even like throwing Thanksgiving, you think? Like,
I
you said
they're the
people
only ones
don't
that
enjoy
have
it, so
like kids or anything, but they stress. One time, like dressing wasn't cooked all the way through,
there you
and
go.
it
That's your ticket then. Just say, hey, you stress about this all the time. Like, let me help you out. Let me go ahead.
Can you get one of these elder statesmen that's been in Congress for 25 years on your side?
like a last ditch, like, hey, this is the last thing that you might do.
Yeah, I mean, we're in your lame duck period.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. So
yeah.
So that's anyway. So that was good. To answer your question, though, I did get to watch the Cowboys game.
Okay. Can I tell you, I loved every second of that because it started with the Cowboys game, and you wrote. I don't know if you did or didn't, but I feel like you had a notepad of stuff that you were like, this is what I'm doing.
Hijacked
right?
it.
Yeah. Yep. No, and that's fine. That's because I loved every second of it. Now I do before we leave. I'm
going to do.
Before we leave that conversation.
Yeah.
We in our family, now granted there isn't a lot. There is adult wise on my side of the family, me and my wife, my parents, my sister and her husband, and then my youngest sister. So there's seven of us adults. So we decided at Easter time when we get together, we draw names and we call it Christmas baskets. So each person buys presents for one of the other adults. Like, and we do it at Easter because we have all year as opposed to like, oh, I need to buy a bunch of stuff in December, even though that's what's happening to me anyway. That's what I'm doing. But you have all year to like buy gifts. And then come Christmas, each person gives them, I think for us, it was like 200 or 250 because we only have, we don't, and there's you can buy it for all the kids,
it's okay.
you know. No, I'm just saying
Third ball is doing very well.
There isn't a lot of other presents we have to buy because we don't have a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff coming over, you know. So but we did something very similar. But again, it was a process because me and Andrea discussed doing something that a couple years prior, it got shut down. And then my sister's like, hey, we should do this. And everyone's like, oh yeah, good idea. I'm like, wait a minute. We could have done this 2 years ago, you know? So it took some time, but it happened.
Yeah. So I just want to move that forward a little bit. This year, realistically, it's probably going to be like a 2024 thing.
You gotta have a goal. Yeah, you gotta have a goal.
But that's my goal. That's the project roadmap is laid out. So,
did you guys get to watch the USA England soccer game?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I watched it at we were at my parents' house on Friday and we watched that game. And my brother-in-law is a huge soccer fan. Like if ever I have a question about anything soccer related, like he's the guy, like knows everything. England was making a sub, like, oh, that's so and so, Grisheen or whatever came in. He's like, oh, that's so. They call him Mr. Calves or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, he wears really low socks because he has giant calves and he likes to show them off. I'm like, how do you know all this information? But like he knows everything about everything. So it's really fun to watch it with him. My dad was there too, who knows nothing about soccer and was just making fun of it a little bit here and there. But afterward, he goes, I was more into that than I thought I was going to be. I was like, yeah, that happens every 4 years. But other than that, no one really cares.
Can I ask a question? Because I think we're all thinking the same thing here.
Sure.
Your dad doesn't like soccer?
He does not. He was also born in America. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I did come over. What?
I was just gonna say, is there racial undertones with that comment?
Sure, because I did come over.
Yes, it's just like I mean,
I did come over the next day with my Mexico soccer jersey on, and we did watch some of the Mexico game, but we only watched a little bit of it because it was the same time as Ohio State, Michigan. But But I showed him, and I was like, Dad, we got to watch Mexico game. He goes, my team played yesterday. I'm like, all right.
That's awesome.
But yeah, were you able to watch the whole game? Soccer match.
Whole game. I
Soccer's.
cut work at 1, so I did have to work because the stupid
did
stock market is open. But after
Oh.
that, yeah, I literally jumped on the couch and started watching the pregame, and then I got to watch the whole match.
You work from home, I forgot. No drive time there.
No, literally
Yeah.
just walking from this desk right here to my couch. Takes me a couple minutes. No, it doesn't. It takes me 20 seconds.
I get super into it, man. I like the World Cup. Just like when it's the Olympics too.
It's yeah, it is. I don't know. Whenever I watch it, I find I enjoy it. I mean, I was watching last summer the Conca Cup or whatever it is,
CONCACAF.
Yeah, I think it is. But USA beat Mexico, and that was like a really entertaining match.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's one of those things. It's like I get super into it, and then I'm like, I get pissed when it ends in a tie, like like ends in a draw, and I'm like, fuck, like this sucks. And then, but I know obviously, like if you get to the next stage, then there are no more ties. It's like it's like it's just keeps going and going and going. So,
if the U.S. ties or loses Tuesday, are you going to give a shit about the World Cup going forward?
I'll still watch it.
I'll still watch it.
Yeah, I do watch other matches.
You're out.
I've watched.
You're out.
You're done.
Yeah. All right.
I'll loosely see what's going on.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, hey, I need to go watch England take on France.
Yeah. Well, for me, if and when USA loses, then it turns into like it turns into like March Madness when my team loses. Like I'm just seeing how far underdogs can go. So that's what I look forward to. That. Yeah. But I always same thing with hockey, with Olympic hockey. Like yeah, I can get into this. All right. And then I start trying to pick a team, this and that, and whatever, and it doesn't last very long. I just didn't grow up with it. So I don't, Andrea's family's from what's that?
Go ahead. No, just go ahead.
Andrea's family's from Buffalo, so I liked the Sabres for a while. And then I just stopped, just because it's not one of those things that I'll pay attention to.
I was going to ask everyone's feelings on the next matchup with
Iran.
Sorry,
Iran.
Aaron. So basically, it's freedom versus dictatorship. I mean, the geopolitical undertones
match
of this match,
the season,
all time high. I mean, we have to win.
Was it Iran's first game that they got like flags and stuff taken away? Did you hear about that?
No.
So
I wouldn't be surprised though.
People in Qatar, like obviously,
Qatar.
Obviously, like you heard like, hey, yeah, you guys can sell beer, and then 24 hours before everything was started, like, no beer. And then they were making people like they wouldn't let people in with anything on rainbow, hats, flags, no rainbow stuff. But I guess like they brought like Iran. There were some Iran flags that they brought in that they took away from them. They didn't let them use them.
Livy's calling me. I'll be right back.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It's I don't even know how much I'll be able to watch. I got a basketball game to coach, which is a new development. So
how are you feeling about the Cowboys season so far?
I'm excited, man. Mateo really wants them to get Odell Beckham. I did mention to him that he just got kicked off an airplane yesterday for being seemingly drunk, but I don't know the whole story. And his first question was, where was he flying to? I'm like, I don't know if it was Dallas or not, buddy. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited. I'm more excited this year because their defense is good. Their front four, that's what makes it really good, is the Cowboys can get pressure on them with just their front four. obviously that helps when you can have 7 people not involved in the run game and 7 people involved in the passing game.
Yeah, it's I don't think Dak looked very sharp at the beginning of the game. Like it was kind of troubling to see like that first half was actually a pretty decent game. I forget if they scored right before going into the half or not, Cowboys, but
Yeah.
for it wasn't like it was weird because when they played last time, it was like, hey, as long as we stop the Giants on first down and it's second or third and plus territory, like we're gonna get a stop. And this
Yeah.
like they were able to get 6-7 yards. I felt like on first down consistently,
Yeah.
but dude, Pollard's a stud.
I
He'll
love
probably
Pollard.
like that was good to see. So yeah, man. I mean, Beckham would be cool, I guess, but like to have a second option, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Michael Gallup made some. Yeah, Michael Gallup made some really good
Yeah,
plays on Thanksgiving. Some incredible catches. So
so
I saw somebody post like, "Hey, they're going after Odell Beckham. They probably should have just kept Amari Cooper." I was like, "Well, he was also making a lot of money, and that
yeah,
was one of the reasons too, is to get rid of him, because of
yeah.
the money."
Their cap situation. They probably need some offensive linemen and in the draft next year, and
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. I don't know if Pollard's up at the end of this year if he gets paid, but I don't think you could have Zeke and Pollard like
Zeke
re-sign
just
Pollard.
signed like a 3, 4, 5 year deal, didn't he?
who's
When
that?
did he
Yeah,
sign that deal?
that's the NFL,
Zeke.
man. It's the
Yeah, but they can cut him.
yeah. I think they would cut him. So, but it's fun to watch, man. It's definitely my wife is a very passionate sports fan, which is awesome. But at the same time, like if the Cowboys lose, if the Aggies lose, or if the Mavericks lose, which I've turned her into a Mavs fan, it's it's walking on eggshells for a little bit. So,
Okay,
but
and
that's almost like, all right, good. I'm happy they won. So
everybody's happy.
yeah,
Tony Pollard's contract. He's a free agent after this year,
yeah.
so he's unrestricted free agent.
So I think they'll probably do. I mean, I would think it's either you re-sign him, cut Zeke, and then draft a running back in like the third or fourth round, and kind of do exactly what they did with Pollard. Um, or I don't.
Well, that free agent, or not free agent, the backup they used was he was undrafted rookie this year. He does pretty good when he's in there. Yeah, so Zeke
Zeke's got multiple years left
he's signed until 2026.
Yeah.
through 2026.
Yeah.
He's a free agent 2027.
But at some point I'm sure um they can cut him. They can cut him after this year, and it'll cost them $11 million.
So also, what's cool about the NFL this year, though, is that like the Eagles are the top team in the East right now. I don't give two shits about Jalen Hurts. I think he's Dak light.
Yeah.
Like he's got weapons around him, but
This is a hot take right here.
I if we're lining up in the playoffs and their team has Jalen Hurts, I'm not scared. Dude's gonna piss down his leg at some point.
I think well, his last game, his last 2 games, he's had under 200 yards passing. Now I think he rushed more than normal, and I heard, like, especially when they played Indiana or Indianapolis, I was listening to another podcast where they were talking about if you can keep him, because he does really good when he's out of the pocket. Just keep him in the pocket and keep people in front of him, then it makes it harder for him to be able to read stuff. Now, it's probably easier said than done, but it makes it for defenses like the Cowboys and the 49ers, who have a good front four. It makes it a little easier for them because they have a good defensive line.
And like I'll take Micah Parsons going one on one, like trying to chase down Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, man, that dude so sees seems so fast in the open field. Like just
It's
look at
unreal. Yeah.
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 One more game, the big Ohio State Michigan game. Tyler, you didn't go to it, did you?
No, it was too
Okay.
expensive.
So you thought about it. You looked into it.
I thought about it for about 5 seconds, and
Okay.
then I
What
saw
were the ticket?
I
What are
saw
the
the
ticket
ticket
costs?
prices, and they were stupid.
What was it?
Yeah.
The get in price was probably at least 500 a ticket, at least. Is stupid.
But
Stupid.
if you know now that they won, if you knew they were going to win, would you have paid that?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'll be honest. Like that's just a lot. That's a lot of
Sure.
money to me.
It is.
Because
It is.
like I mean, even if you have season tickets, your season tickets for like end zone, or like even upper deck Browns that I'm used to, like they're more than that, but you're also getting 8 games and that's just one game. So I know you're gonna pay a premium when you don't have season tickets, but
Yeah.
damn, dude,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. So
Did you also think like, hey, college football playoff is kind of open. If they win this game against Ohio State, they could potentially play in the championship game. And I'll use the money maybe that I would have spent at the Ohio State game to then fly my ass to the championship game.
these thoughts have all entered my head in the last 24 hours for sure. I'm glad that I
Where
did
is the
not
national
spend
championship game this year?
the the semifinal is there's one in, I want to say, like somewhere in Arizona.
Okay.
Forget where the other one is. I don't know where the Natty is, honestly.
California.
Boom.
SoFi Stadium.
Oh.
Oh, that shithole.
Um,
uh,
I always
I was thrilled of the outcome.
Sure,
I
sure.
just want to get that on the podcast.
What were
Thrilled.
you watching it by yourself?
Yes. I
Oh
liked it.
man.
I actually, the last 2 years I've watched both games by myself in quiet, and it's probably for the best just because like I don't know. I don't sleep the night before. I had trouble sleeping last night because I was so amped up. You guys laugh at me, but like I take these games way too seriously, way too personal.
for me, like I don't like either team, and I want to like I like watching it with people, like to just be able to like even if you invite another Michigan fan over or hang out with other Michigan fans, at least someone to like high five. You know what I mean? Someone just to cheer with.
Yeah. I mean,
The
I was
Michigan-
so I was texting and FaceTiming Trey a couple times. Just throughout the game. Couple LOLs and couple smiley faces here and there when just stupid shit was happening and I was laughing my ass off. Cause like for the last, and I told Trey, I said like for the last 20 something years or 20 years, like we've seen the opposite end of it, and like anything that could go wrong did go wrong in like the big games, and I'm finally like seeing the other end, and I'm like, fuck yes, awesome.
Well, the first
I'm
half,
gonna enjoy this.
The first half, I'm surprised Michigan wasn't down more. Like it's like
yes,
they didn't play
their
very
defense. So obviously,
especially after the
game.
first drive.
Yes, I watched the game, obviously, which the first, as a Browns fan, I can tell you the first drive is always scripted. So it's easiest to score on a scripted drive, in my opinion.
I understand, but still.
Lot changes. Yes. But the defense played amazing. I watched somebody like last night. I had already chopped up the game into like the top plays for both teams,
Yeah.
And Michigan made so many great defensive like stands or holds or plays where, there were several where Ohio State went down and kicked field goals instead of putting 7 on the board. Mm-hmm. And then they started playing, and it was, as Charles Woodson put it was a mollywhopping. I think that was the term he used.
Jim, are you still an Ohio State fan?
It made me laugh.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative.
Jim's a Penn State fan now.
Once I started paying tuition dollars to Penn State, my allegiance went to Penn State.
Okay. So that sucks for you because they always lose to Ohio State and Michigan. So
but that's okay. It's kind of nice because it's like we're gonna lose to Ohio State and probably Michigan, even though the last few years it's been close games. But whatever.
I posted some some little joke post on Facebook yesterday, and my
I
uncle
saw it.
my uncle who's an Ohio State fan responded, is Texas back? I'm asking for a friend. I go, hey, we beat our rival 49-0 this year. So I don't know.
Uh, I love those
So,
comments, by the way. And then Jake said something about if you don't post this 10 times, you'll have bad luck for 10 years. You have to repeat this or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
so I invited Trey, myself, and this other guy that we used to work with. We get together maybe like once a year during college football time. End up drinking way too much and everything. We didn't do it this year, and we're like, hey, what about the Michigan Ohio State game? We did that before. I was passed out for the Auburn Bama kick six
Oh, okay,
return
yeah,
game
yeah.
because we were drinking too much for the Ohio State Michigan game before, and woke up to just Sports Center highlights of that. But anyway, so we were like, hey, we
And
haven't
your
done this.
friend's gone.
Yeah, it's just my wife was pissed because I told her we go to Hobby Lobby. And I was just like putting that off, and I was so hungover, it just wasn't gonna happen. But uh, no, I was just like, hey, let's get together for this game. Like we're all like in town or whatever. Trey would not. He's like, I want to watch it by myself. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
don't be a little bitch. But I will say he was loving life because every after the game, like it's like he was sending screenshots of the Ohio State message boards,
Yeah.
and I could just tell like his entire day, like after that game, was just like going on, not like the Michigan boards, but it's like how bad is it at Ohio State right
Ohio
now?
State, yeah, literally
I just want to
was
watch them bitch and just turn on each other and just go. And he's just, this stuff over and over again. And
Well,
it's just
immediately,
good for
immediately,
you.
uh, Ryan Day needs to get fired
Oh, yeah.
immediately.
yes. Those were the best.
I'm like, what?
I love it. I
He
love
can't
it.
win the big games.
I
Harbaugh,
love
bring
it.
back Urban. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Bring
It's
back Urban. I saw that yesterday. I saw the fire Ryan Day.
Oh my
Trey
god,
sent me a
man.
video when I guess right after Ryan Day shook Jim Harbaugh's hand. Somebody on the field or in the media says, "Haha, you're getting fired!" Like right in Ryan Day's face. Oh my God, I was just like, Jesus.
That's so
But
crazy, man.
it is, but like it's real. Like I don't know, man.
Yeah, but
Those
I
the
mean, look what Michigan
fans are
did. Mi- Mi-
fans are nuts. They're
Michigan,
nuts.
Michigan. Yeah, I understand what they're saying is actual words. That's real, but they're stupid, and it's not real that he should get fired. They're just being stupid, and that's why when I watched the Ohio State Michigan game, I want Michigan to win. Now I was with my dad who likes Ohio State, so I didn't like openly root for that. He'll hear this and know that now, but I want Michigan to win because Ohio State fans drive me crazy. Maybe it's because I live in Ohio. If I lived in Michigan, maybe it'd be the other way around. I have really cool people I know, like my dad and my uncle, who never talk shit or never do anything crazy or never do any of this stuff, and I'm cool with them. And that's why I can go to the game, and watch it and I'm calm. If it was some stupid, crazy Ohio State fan, I'd be rooting for Michigan all the time in their face, slapping them around and all that kind of stuff. But it's they're so stupid and I hate it so much. I just
Go off,
hate it.
King.
And
Go
I'm not
off.
even a Michigan fan. And it's so frustrating. So
Uh,
immediately those guys are just
I'll
like,
be
fire
honest.
Ryan Day, fire Ryan. I'm like, you guys are stupid.
So last year, I still don't feel like I've really talked shit to anyone. I got a lot of like, oh, congrats, Ty. And I was like,
Yeah.
thanks. Like last year, I was like, I'm gonna
I
enjoy
said
this.
that.
And this year, what did you say, Jim?
He said, I said that.
I sent you a congrats tie.
Yeah. No, honestly, I got
Yeah.
weirdly enough, like I got a lot of like good win, Ty, like congrats, and I was like, thanks, guys. I'm gonna enjoy this because I was like,
you know
I
what?
haven't seen this in so long.
Yeah, you know
This
what else
year,
happened though? You know what else happened last year is Ohio State immediately turned around on you guys and are like, hey, oh yeah, good job, you got one in 10 years, blah blah blah. I go, hey, they're allowed to
Exactly.
be happy too. Let them be. They can't be happy that they
Yes,
won the game. Shut the
exactly.
fuck up.
Because that's what I heard was like immediately, like you said afterwards. It like
Yeah,
after it settled in, I started hearing, "Well, you got one in 20 years.
yeah,
Congrats." Blah blah
yeah.
blah. This year, I love just watching the house burn down. Like I love it. I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm still not talking shit, but God, I love
Oh,
watching or hearing it, seeing
yeah,
it. Oh, I am enjoying it. Like I'm
me
loving it.
too. And my team's not even good. And screw those guys.
I'm not saying shit. I'm really not.
And that's
I'm
fine.
excited.
That's fine.
I don't know
Hey,
what
good
it
job.
is,
You
but
got
like
two in 10 years. Good job.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
For perspective though, like they hadn't won in Columbus in 20 years or whatever it was. So,
Yeah.
I mean, very few like even somebody pointed out it took Bo Schembechler, it took him like 6 or 7 seasons to get a win in Columbus. It's hard to get a win in Columbus. So I was
Sure.
very excited yesterday.
What was like? Is it weird at all though? Like that your coach is like the Michigan guy, but then like this past off season, it felt like he would have went to the Vikings and left had like some of the deep like it was such a weird off season for Harbaugh this year. Like
I feel like
I,
that's every year, at least the last couple years has been like that, where he dabbles, and I don't know. I don't know what he's like, what interests him or what doesn't interest him. But I feel like now he's dabbled a few times, he's burnt probably a bunch of bridges because like
that's
I
not
don't know if
that's
he's
such like
gotten the
a
job
weird,
offers, but
that's
he
such a
keeps turning
weird
them
thing.
down. It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for sure weird. It definitely affected last year, like with the offensive coordinator leaving because like he thought he was going to be left high and dry, and then so he jumped ship while those interviews were happening. So Michigan had to get a new offense and defensive coordinator. Um, my favorite part about what happened yesterday was that Ohio State like said they were going to fix their defense, and they went out and hired a defensive coordinator for like 2 point something $1 million. And
And Ty is silently smiling. Remember, this is audio
yep,
and sometimes video.
I'm sorry. I'm smiling for anyone that wants to listen.
um, so I I don't ever find it weird when it's out there that coaches are looking at other jobs. I just think it's like any other profession. Like just because you're somewhere doesn't mean you have to be there and not look at other jobs, right? If anything, they know, they being Michigan. I mean, I'm sure there was times when they were losing to Ohio State. Like, I'm sure there was thoughts, and I'm sure they reached out to other coaches, like, "Hey, we're thinking we might get rid of him. Would you be interested in this job?"
Oh
I
yeah.
think if it goes that way, it can go both ways. Like, they can also look right. It's just you hear about it because it's such a high profile thing.
Dude, one
I
thousand
also
percent.
think
It's the like it's the hey, I'm actively looking, but then like after that, be like in interviews, be like, this is the greatest job in the world. Like, why would you want to be any other place? Like,
Yeah,
who has it better than us? Like all that type of shit. Like, well, Minnesota kind of had it. You just couldn't work out the deal, whatever the fuck that the numbers were to make it that place be better than Michigan. Like,
yeah,
I get it like I understand that part of it, but it's the like whole and you have to do it in college, which is like it gets annoying to a point, but it's just like the whole like rah rah like this is
mhm.
the best like you want to you want to be at this school, you want to do all this type of shit. And then at the end of the day, it's like it's just a business. Like all these dudes, if somebody's gonna back up the truck and put a shitload of money in front of them, they'll just dip out, which is life. But it's like, yeah, some of these people, it's just that's the only part that ever like rubs me like weird with any of the, and it's not just Jimmy that does it. It's like all these coaches do the exact same fucking thing, and that's like Franklin does the fucking same. Like,
Yeah. I just think I mean, it's all again, it's because everybody knows about it, but it's the same thing. Like, I love my job. I love working for the parks, and I tell people that, and it's an awesome place to work. And if somebody backed the truck up, like, hey, we want you to come over to this park system and run this park, and it's double my salary. Okay, well,
Peace.
because I love this job so much, I'll let them know about it and see what they want to do. But I'm gonna take the culture and stuff that happened here and turn it the same thing over here. But no one's gonna know about it because it's me and not Jim
I
Harbaugh.
will.
Yeah, you also have to think like you also have to think though, like who's the person always putting out the information that so and so is interested. So like last year when Franklin before USC got their coach, who is it? I forget who went to USC.
Riley.
What
Yeah, Lincoln Riley.
Riley. Thank you. Lincoln Riley. But Franklin, God knows it was his agent. And they're like, oh, he might consider USC, like, and he probably told it right to like the boosters and like, hey, like you better bring the cash. And then they did. They backed up the truck, and he signed a nice little extension. He's like, thanks.
Let's keep using that phrase, back the truck up, but just use it for
back
other
it
things.
up. Back it up.
Zigging. Let's zig that.
Let's zig it.
We'll zig it.
Hey, speaking of zig, I'm gonna zig it here. Have you guys ever received a compliment for your parking ability? Because I did it from I just it wasn't even like a big deal. Like there was cars around. I backed into a spot with my truck, got out, and this other guy's like, "Good job, man. That was a nice parking job." I'm like, "Thank you," but I feel like it's such a dad thing to do.
Yeah, no, I've never got that.
Spots?
No.
Yes, 100% of the time, always back up.
I want you to know, and I'm just telling you this. I'm the guy when you're like making us all wait. I'm like, this motherfucker, like, and this truck is backing up, and like all the cars are behind him now and you think you have the space because you pull past it and then you back in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this, and then you don't get it on the first one. So then you pull forward again, and like, it's just like,
but I get it on the first one. So you don't have to worry about that.
Better, because if you don't, the F-bombs are coming out.
Well, I park my truck so much better backing up than I do pulling in. Because I don't have to swing it out wide.
Backs up better than
So why do it the other way when one's way better than the other one?
So why do you drive going forward then? Why don't you just always drive going backwards?
Well, that's different. I'm not driving. I'm parking. I'm parking, not driving.
You're driving your car when you're parking.
Driving, you're going someplace. Parking, you're pulling into one spot, one single.
All of the driver's ed test is parking a car.
Say it again.
Part of the driver's ed test,
yeah,
is parking your car.
Yeah, but you're saying like, hey, if you're really good at swinging a baseball club and not a baseball or a golf club and not a baseball bat, why don't you use a golf club when someone's throwing you a fastball?
Why not?
Because that
makes no sense. But what? All I'm saying,
I'm just saying they're two different things.
We're zigging so hard right now.
They're two different things. You can't.
I'll just put it this way. I'm happy you did a good job parking, and I'm happy it's great. You got a compliment. You're a dickhead, and I just want that to be known for all truck drivers. And it's not even Trey backs in everywhere too.
Yeah.
So that guy. You're that guy.
Okay, but here I'm gonna flip it on you now. Okay, now listen.
Zag it.
Listen.
Zag it.
So when I pull in, okay, when I'm pulling into a spot or backing into a spot, you mentioned F-bomb slide because you're waiting for someone to come in. Again, I'm really good at backing up. I don't have to do it twice. It's either people wait for you to back up or people wait for you to back out of your spot. Either way, because you could pull out, no one's coming, zoom, I'm out. Now, when you're backing up, you got to ease out because you can't quite see. Ease out. Then you're turning. Then now people are waiting. You're halfway out. Oh, and then people, should I go? Is this person going to go? I don't know. Still backing up, still creating a line. Either way, there's a line on the front end or a line on the back end.
That's a great argument, except for the point of when you back, like you're going to back up and block traffic. You're not pulling out just like willy-nilly, like, hey, there's cars coming here, but I'm going to pull out anyways.
My
waiting for a space. If you back up and there's no one ever behind you, or you're not in any kind of line, God bless you, all the power to you.
Yeah.
If you're the guy that's like, hey, we're in Walmart parking lot right now, and there's 3 cars behind me, and I'm gonna do this maneuver and impede their progress and just I want to back out so everybody
Jim
can
is
look at
keying
my
your
parking spot.
car. He's
No.
keying your car. He's coming at you.
My point
So
is when you back into a spot,
I
when you
understand. It's a good point.
when you're
It's not
pulling forward,
correct, though.
when you're pulling forward, you can see both sides. When you pull in and try to back out when you're leaving, you can't see everything. So that's why it's one of those. If you're not a if you're a good driver or not a good driver, when you're backing up, you can't see, so you're easing out of that spot, and you're still clogging up traffic, regardless if you're there or not. And now you saying like, hey, there might be people, there might not be people. Same thing. It works on both. Like, yeah, there could be cars, there could be not cars. Depends on what it is.
And I said, if there's no cars, God bless you. There are cars.
You're
We're not.
dickhead.
So,
Hey,
but hey,
EAD,
it's also a
EAD,
compliment.
EAD.
We don't get enough as dads. We don't get enough. We don't give the dad high five as often as we should.
No, 100%. Tyler,
I did have something funny happen to me today while I was getting stuff out of my car in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Some guy was coming down the road, and mind you, like every parking spot is taken on this road. And my brother and I got there around 10:30. It's purposely to go to this like bar that we like, get a couple drinks, get a pizza, and then walk to the Browns game. So anyway, we were getting some stuff right beforehand for the game as we were heading back down to the game. And it was funny because this guy is just like, he sees us like lock up the car, and hey, Jim. So anyway,
all right.
he sees us lock up the car.
Yep.
And then he's just he pulls up and he goes, hey man, I don't know if you know this, but they're starting to tow a bunch of cars down the road, blah blah blah. And I was like, yep, thanks. He was just trying to get me to move my car. And I was like, what
Really?
a fucking asshole. Yeah, oh yeah. 100%. Like, he's, I don't know if you know this, but you're not supposed to park there on the weekends, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you idiot. Like, look at the road. Every single spot, the metered spots are all taken for a reason, because they don't tow on the weekend, and there's no that you don't get a ticket for not feeding the meter either. So
that'd have been sweet if he knew a tow truck, if his buddy ran a tow truck company and just was moving,
and he was
moving cars out of there.
Well, yeah, it was 100% just to get someone's spot. That's all it was. So
It's got
like,
it had to. That wasn't his first time, and it had to have worked.
Oh, I'm sure
at some point.
I immediately knew what he was doing, and then I told my brother, and he's just like, he was doing that to you? And I said, yeah. I said, there's a lot of just shady people out there. I said, you just can't believe people anymore.
Business idea. If you're a tow truck driver, be like, hey, I'll get you a parking spot. And you go up and you just tell them, hey,
move the car in there.
Like, we were told to start towing cars here. You either need to move or not. And then have that car just sit back. People will start to move on their own and be like, all right, take your spot. Boom.
$20.
I'm pretty sure really shady.
Yeah, really shady / illegal. And I'm sure somebody would turn that in. So, because I think you have to have a license to
parking authority.
Who?
Yes. The parking authority. Yes. That is actually who would actually tow your car in Cleveland. So yeah.
Oh man.
Big Browns win today.
Good job, Tyler.
I threw out a stat. Thank you. I had nothing to do.
How'd you like the end of it, Ty?
Yeah. It was probably really good. They like.
Here's my story. So being a Browns fan, it's very painful. You guys don't know. You can't relate. But my brother and I will oftentimes leave the game early. I believe today it was about 4 minutes or so early. The Browns were kicking the ball to Tom Brady.
And about 3.5 minutes before Njoku caught a touchdown pass.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we walked out of the stadium not seeing the Njoku touchdown catch to tie the game, but we heard it, the roar of the remaining people in the stands, which I'm telling you was maybe a quarter full, and it still was so loud. So it gives you an idea of how loud those stadiums actually get, like when there's very few fans. But the sound of those places is just awesome. But anyway, so we left, and then while we were in the car, we listened to them actually win it in overtime. Interesting stat though. So the reason I left was I looked at my brother and I said, like, Tom Brady's getting the ball back.
Yeah, but they suck this year.
They do, but Tom Brady's getting the ball back. I was like, he never loses.
That's your Michigan fan coming out.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's just he doesn't lose. So prior to today, and I found the stat to prove my thought, because again, these are all ingrained in my thoughts. He was 218-0 going into the last 2 minutes of a game, up 7. He had never lost ever. That to me was like, holy shit, like that's a crazy stat. So yes, it was a great win. Do I care? No, because the Browns are terrible. But yeah, to Lorenzo's point, that's a bad Tampa Bay team. If you can't beat the Browns, it's bad.
But your favorite quarterback's going to play next week, so
yeah, I can't wait. Yep. I'm so excited. The season was over once they extended his suspension for the Browns. Like, I think the Browns were banking on the 6 games and they got it, and then they upped it to 11, and they're like, "Fuck, what are you?"
I have an idea.
Sure.
What if?
Is this also illegal?
Does Lisa follow the NFL?
Is Lisa? Yes, she's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Okay. You somehow need to convince her or one of her family members, if you ever talk to them, that your daughter really wants a Deshaun Watson jersey for Christmas.
Never happened.
Then there's like, hey, Judge, we need to have a conversation here because she's giving our daughter Deshaun Watson gear.
Let's just
I don't
not.
think I don't think
let's just not go down this road. Thank you. I'm happy that Olivia is a Michigan fan. Yes, Olivia's a Michigan fan. I've at least said that correct. She's not a Browns fan. And my brother was also telling me recently, he's just like, I forget where he heard it. I think it was the old ESPN guy. Somebody had asked him one time. There's old ESPN guy. He now like basically is just like he's the Cleveland through and through guy, kind of like, he grew up in Cleveland. He's still in Cleveland now. He does like the Cleveland sports show or something locally
the
now.
Guy from Bowling Green.
Yeah, him. I forget what his name is always, but anyway, somebody asked him, I guess at one point, they're like, do you ever think about what you've done to your kids that you made them Browns fans? And he said he still thinks about that to this day. Like, and I was just, and it's kind of sad because like I somewhat can see that like a lot. I don't know. The dysfunction of the organization is just so bad.
But dude, at some point they'll win and it's going to be amazing.
Misery loves company.
I don't know about that. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, my brother Zach told me something else interesting today. He said, if you think about it, he goes, they won, the COVID year because they were never in the building. And I'm like, holy shit, like maybe you're on something here. Like, I don't know. It's bad. I mean, the stories just you start reading, man. Whew. Oh, the other cool thing that I did want to share with the listeners. So there's this kid. He is a kid. He's young. I think he's gone like full time into this kind of, I don't know if he does podcasting, but he definitely just like, he basically is a YouTube guy now. And his name is Sir Yacht. Sir Yacht has an interesting YouTube thing now going where he is interviewing every Browns quarterback since they came back. And he started with Tim Couch, and it was a 20-minute interview, and it was actually really good. I thought it was very interesting just hearing Tim Couch's story real quick. And it was like, you kind of forget already about some of the stories, but he got like booed they were that's what it was. They were cheering when he got like injured, and he's obviously doesn't harbor the best of feelings for that. So
let's not shout out other podcasts while we're on this one.
It wasn't a podcast.
I'm just playing.
Not a podcast. We don't have a YouTube channel really, so
well, we will.
Not like that.
If Sir Yacht would like to, throw us some listeners, that'd be great.
Can I tell you though, our YouTube I don't call them. I can't call them numbers because we don't have our own YouTube page for this podcast yet. January 1st, 2023.
Book it, subscribe, like.
Yep. But are the numbers for our episodes for when we put them when they're out there on the Nerdball channel, dude, we're doing good, man. Like we get more listens than I do subscribers. So
You know what's interesting?
Hell yeah.
I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's like, "Hey, I saw you were on the podcast with Lorenzo." She has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." And she's like, "Is this the second time you've done that?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" She's like, "I really wish it was a call-in show." I'm like,
A call-in show? Oh my God.
I don't think I think she saw the video for one of the things and clicked on it and started watching some of it. So yeah.
Well, the good thing is
everything enjoyed it.
Yeah, everything is going to get moved. All the videos will get moved to the new YouTube channel, so they'll all be there. Your mom can subscribe to 3 different dads, and she'll realize you've been on 16 podcasts and not 2. So
those 2 she enjoyed. So
well, that's awesome. Hey.
Is 60
Go ahead,
plus.
hit that like and subscribe button.
60 plus, we got it.
Oh man.
So this is we were texting about it a little bit. Our home improvement segment, where again, to any new listeners out there, I came up with home improvement because as dads, we're constantly starting new home projects without quite finishing other ones. Getting halfway through, sometimes getting 90% through, and then deciding I'm going to zig and go to this other project. And that's what this is. Sometimes we come up with certain segments that stick for a few episodes, and sometimes they're just one-offers. And it happens, and that's fine. But the good thing is, this home improvement section welcomes all. So Jimmy texted. He has a tip of the hat, and he texted it like we've been doing it since 1992. So
tip of the cap, I believe, is the term. Tip of the cap.
Tyler and I both said, "Wait, is this a new segment?" Because it sounded like wait, we've been doing this since it started. So Jimmy,
he very nonchalantly just texts us, and he's like, "I have 2 tip of the caps for today," and we immediately both said, "New segment."
Yeah. So Jimmy, home improvement section is now open, so let's hit it.
Yeah. So there's a old Steve Colbert show like where he did tip of the cap, wag of the finger.
Yeah.
And so that's what made me think of it, because it's the same person for this. It is a tip. I have a tip of the cap, wag of the finger for one person, and just tip of the cap. So
now we're stealing segments,
borrowing. So tip of the cap, to Sleepy Joe.
Okay.
I saw the gas in Texas, $2.53 a gallon.
Nice.
Wow.
So
congrats.
Yes. So I'll give shout outs and some other things. Wag of the finger, though. My daughter had the flu, which I was telling you about. I told Tyler this, but when I had the flu, I got the doctor wrote me a script to get Tamiflu, and it was a couple pills. I took it for 5 days. It was great. Thank you, medical care system. It cost me 50 cents for those pills.
Yeah.
I went to go the day before Thanksgiving, Wednesday night. I'm at CVS to pick up my daughter's prescription. Tamiflu. This was the liquid Tamiflu where they put some taste stuff to make it taste good for kids. $102.
Yeah.
I looked at the dude. I go, I just got Tamiflu like 2 weeks ago in the pills, and it was 50 cents. He looked at me like I was an idiot because he's like, this is liquid.
You gonna tell me how to do my job, man?
So which it caught me off guard a little bit. It was just like, okay. Like,
he probably backs into his spot. He probably backs into his car spot.
He does. This dude, and I was just like, and there were people behind me, and I had to wait 20 minutes just to get up to the register to get the medicine. And I'm like, this guy, they got me. And my daughter took like a little bit of it and thought it was the most disgusting thing ever.
Sure.
And it's been a battle for a couple of days, but she's taking all of that $102 medicine, that's a 5-day supplies. So Joe Biden, let's kind of figure out the whole medical system. So tip of the cap on gases, wag of the finger on medicine.
So just you,
I love how both of these tip of the cap, wag of the finger are tied to the president, who has nothing really to do with either of those. But okay, all right.
Okay. But he gets blamed for both of them, and
Oh
he
yeah,
gets
I
blamed
know,
for different things. So
I know.
that's that. Tip of the cap. Number 2,
yeah,
Jeff Bezos. I went to the mall today with my family, and it was dead. And this was it's a very popular mall in Dallas. They do the whole ice skating, and it's 4 floors. There was nobody there.
yeah.
And I think it's because everybody shops on Amazon and buys their Christmas stuff ahead, like online. So thank you. It was amazing. It was the way a mall should be. We went to American Girl doll store. It wasn't very.
The way a ball should be. I don't think
It
the
was.
shop owners
dead.
would agree.
Yeah,
We could go. We could get like there were people there, but there wasn't a lot of people there, and it was just like
What day did you go?
We went to go get
Today?
lunch. Yeah, today.
Oh wow, okay.
And so it was just like I was in my mind thinking like we're gonna get in and out as quickly as possible. Like my kids are running like it was like whatever. Go nuts,
Yeah.
kid. I can see you. You can see me. There's no stranger danger because no one's really around. Like let's have a time at the mall. And we did. So Jeff Bezos, tip of the
A
cap.
tip of the cap.
I don't think there's too many people giving Jeff Bezos tips of the caps, but hey,
So-
whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I have a targeted ad. So I
Is it the diffuser? Did they get you?
they did
Yes.
not. They did not.
Son of a bitch,
So-
dude. I didn't even look at it either.
You had
And all of
to
a
click
sudden
on
I'm
it.
getting no, I did not look at it. I am a firm believer of the whole
Not
phones are
yet?
listening to you. No.
No.
I'm not even clicking on the ads and now I'm getting diffusers freaking commercials.
So on a podcast, on the Nerdball podcast that's coming out on Thursday, I interviewed the general manager from the Pizza Hut here in Perrysburg. We talked a lot about nerd stuff because he was into a bunch of cool stuff that I'm not into. But it was interesting to hear him talk about it. And obviously, then we talked about Pizza Hut for about 20 minutes. If I did not turn my phone on after that interview was over, it was scrolling through Facebook and there was a Pizza Hut ad talking about the Pizza Hut melts that he was describing to a T, and they're sitting right there on my phone. I'm like, son of a wag of the finger, wag of the finger to that. I don't want that.
None of that.
No. I'll tell you what though, that talk with him and then seeing the pictures of these melts did make me want to buy them.
I got duped on Black Friday, by the way.
New
on an
segment,
ad.
dupe shopping.
Oh, so my wife's like, "Hey, I don't know what to get you. I must have clicked on some random shoe at some point. I'm getting targeted now for shoe brands I've never heard of before. And there's like a on shoes or something like that. They've got holes in it. They look all right. I was like, oh, maybe we'll try them at some point. I get targeted for this ad. It says 2 pairs, $100. And I told my wife, I said, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I'll try this. Give me that, whatever. Because they're normally like $200 shoes. And then I start looking at the website that I'm looking, and it's like I sent her exactly what I wanted. Boom, boom, these shoes. Like laying down in bed, I was like, I'm kind of curious, like what the difference between this style and that. I go to the actual shoe company's website, and their deal for Black Friday is like 10% off. I'm like, where the hell is this 2 for $100 promo?
Yeah.
That they just had. Turns out it was a company in China that makes knockoff shoes of them and sends them to you. So I woke my wife up. I was like, hey, did you buy those shoes yet? And she said, maybe. I said, you need to refund that. She's like, I used PayPal to buy it. I said, okay, dispute and then cancel that order immediately. And she's like, yeah, that website was really weird checking out. I was like, you could have said something. We could have looked at it then. She said, well,
There's a
it's
lot
your
of
Christmas
Chinese.
gift. It's your Christmas gift. I didn't want to like tell you exactly what I was getting. I was like, okay, that made zero sense because I broke down exactly what I wanted from before. So,
Wagging
but
the
Wagging the
finger.
finger.
but it legit like you're scrolling through, it's like two for $100. I was just like, awesome.
They gotcha.
I also want to
They
show
gotcha.
how awesome is that background.
Wait, just
Pretty
her
awesome
giving the
look.
middle finger.
Yeah, she hurt her finger and wanted to show me.
Okay.
And now I was at an HOA meeting and it popped up all of a sudden, and they're like, "What's that?" I was like, "Yeah,
Don't worry about it. Hey, back to the streets.
yeah." So yeah, got to be careful. Moral of the story: if you see an ad that looks too good to be true, go to the actual company website, verify it before you buy it. Dad tip of the week.
That's a
That'll be
different
great for
segment.
our 60-year-old listeners. That'll be great.
Yeah, your mom. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Julie. All right, guys. I guess that's it. Do you have
Wait,
anything
I
else?
got one. I got one
Oh, go for it. Yeah,
for the segment.
yeah.
Are we still in the trust tree with
No,
the nest?
we're
Yes.
still in the.
Okay. So I decorated for Christmas, and I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on how early is too early for Christmas decorations.
So my wife
Is
was
there a
putting
general? Yeah, is there a general rule of thumb you guys live by?
normally we when I say we, I mean my wife will put things up um like Thanksgiving week just because we have time off, But she may even do some a little before, but she waits until after Thanksgiving to decorate the tree. But other than that, like it's kind of like we're gonna do some stuff today, and it just depends on you know how we're all feeling. Like if she's ready, then it's happening, and no one can stop her. So it just depends. But typically, the tree doesn't get its ornaments until after Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Yeah,
We do typically that Friday after Thanksgiving. It's in the morning, have breakfast, and then just get everything out of the garage and the apartment, and head on down and do that for like an hour or two, take a break, and then kind of finish up the rest of it. But I
Nice.
think as long as you're in that week of Thanksgiving, you're okay. If you're doing like early November, I would call foul. But dude, I had like I put garland around my stairs that like lights up, like you plug in, whatever. Looks nice. It's easy. Um, got all the way done this year, and I think a fuse blew in one of them. Like there were multiple sections.
all right, Clark.
So I need to figure out
Fix the
where
newel post.
which one which one blew.
That's a reference to. Sorry to cut Jim off. Did you hear the reference? No.
No, I laughed, but I was
Oh,
because Jimmy was
I didn't see.
talking. I didn't
I'm
want to like
sorry.
be
Oh, I'm
audible.
sorry.
Yeah.
So, anyways, no, great. But I told my wife I'm going to try to look for the fuse this week because I was just pissed. I'm not going to look. It's just not going to be lit here.
All right.
So daytime it looks nice. Nighttime you can't really see it unless we have the lights, all the lights on. So
Yeah. We just have one gnome inflatable. Apparently this year, I Andrea bought little gnomes in the house. We got an 8-foot gnome blow up doll, blow up out in the in
oh
the
yeah,
in the in the yard. And I was like, so we're just a gnome family now? Like we have everything gnomes? Because that's what it's slowly turned into. So that is what it is. But
You're
it's
gonna be
easy.
the weird gnome family.
Those
Block.
those inflatables are it's an easy decoration.
I think we're going inflatables next year.
You gotta try to buy them after Christmas, get them half off and shit.
You got to do the projection lights.
Oh
on
yeah,
the
those
place.
two. Yeah,
those
we do
things
those
are so easy.
Yeah.
Can't do those on the condo, but my old house I used to do those. And
Dude, you're on the
it was
board.
great.
Make those changes. All
All right, guys. Well, we're I can tell because this happens every episode that nobody has dad jokes.
I do have one.
But we're doing dad jokes. So
Damn it.
I do have one.
Damn
I do have one.
Okay.
Tyler already knows this, and the fact that we know it's a joke really kills it. But
all right.
Bring
good
it in.
setup.
Bring it
Good
together.
setup. Good
Bring
setup.
Let me land this plane. All right. Did you hear about the actress that got stabbed to death? Blonde. Reese. God, I can't think of her.
Witherspoon.
With a knife.
I knew that one too.
Tyler sent that to me, and I stole it. But
Dude,
I got my father-in-law with that.
We got it off another podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
And he got the other guy so good. He was like, Witherspoon? And he goes, no, with a knife. Oh, it was so good. Oh man.
All right. Well, I have one.
You want me to go? Or you got it?
I got one. Yep.
All right, let's bring it in. Bring it in.
Back
that truck
Thanksgiving.
up. Back the truck
Back it up. Back the truck up. Just past Thanksgiving. So here's the Thanksgiving dad joke. What did the mother turkey say to her disobedient children? If your father could see you now, he'd turn over in his gravy.
Zing.
Oh, no? All right.
It's forced. That's okay.
They're all forced.
All right, ready?
All right, Ty.
Bring us home, Ty. Bring us home. No pressure.
All right. I'm ready now.
Go.
Dad, can you tell me what a solar eclipse is? No, son.
He did it. He did. He brought us home.
He did. You 100% are right. Yes, he did. It was rough, very rough, and then he got us home. Good job, Ty.
Thank you. I zagged. You guys were zinging and I zagged.
Good job. Good job, us. All right. Well, guys, this was a great episode as always, man. I look forward to these. And I'm glad that this is going to be a spinoff podcast, that'd be its own thing, because I think that's what it deserves. It deserves its own time in the spotlight, and we're going to give it that. So thank you guys. Thanks to you guys, because obviously I'm not the only one doing this. You guys always have to be here too. So I appreciate you guys wanting to do this podcast. That's right. Tyler was gone too. So the bad thing is when I'm not here,
step away.
When I'm not here, this whole thing shuts down. So but again, thanks guys. And as we always say, thanks George.
Thanks George.
Yep. So this has been another episode of three different dads.